A very warm welcome to all of you today to our Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers Toastmasters meeting. Let me start by sharing the mission of our club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered in order to develop their skills, be it communication or leadership. And we also help our members become better in terms of being self-confident and also help in their own personal growth. So that's the mission of our club. And in any Toastmasters meeting, we typically have a set of ground rules. So let me share those with everybody. In case you have any noise-making devices around you, for example, a cell phone or a tablet, you might want to see if you can put it on mute or vibrate so that in case you are unmuted by mistake, your sound doesn't disturb whoever is speaking. Throughout the course of the meeting, we request that you keep your video on so that the participants, especially those who are speaking, can see your reaction to the speeches and understand what kind of feedback they're receiving. However, if you happen to move around, please keep your video off so that it doesn't distract the speakers. That being said, I would also want to remind you that please stay muted on audio throughout the meeting unless you're called upon to speak so that it doesn't disturb the speaker. Any typical Toastmasters meeting, we request that we do not speak in a derogatory manner about religion, sex, or politics. So please keep that in mind. Now, with that, I would like to call upon the presiding officer of our club. Presiding officer is Toastmaster Yasmin. Over to you, Yasmin.
Thank you, Ravi. Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to yet another meeting of Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. I call ourselves as RSS family because all of us here have either been member of RSS or have been visiting RSS for a long time. Some of our guests have honored themselves with the title Senior Most Guests. They're not here. I'm sure they're going to be joining us soon. But Melva, a special welcome to you. We are so delighted to see you after a long time. Heather is joining RSS officially. So welcome, Heather. I invite you as like RSS members, though it's just one step away from signing up. Govind, you are part of RSS family. Always welcome. We have guest speakers who actually have joined us for the very first time, Lydia and Sabiha. They are coming to our meeting for the very first time. Titin, welcome. You have been part of RSS. Kunang, equally welcome. Rukaya, so nice to see you after a long time. Rukaya is our ex-VPE. I am going to be introducing our guest speakers during the course of the meeting. So I would just go ahead and invite the most intelligent yet ignorant, the most lovely yet stupid, the most lovable, yet not yet there, TMOD of the day, none other than Yasmin Tilwala. So ladies and gentlemen, please bring your hands together as I take on my hat as the Toastmaster of the day. I had to challenge myself to bring a subject which I know very little about, endurance sport. We all love to play. I think playing started or came part since our existence. We have been playing. Romans, for example, were playing with animals, with humans. It's always related with fun, with challenges, with exploring your limits. And there comes the concept of endurance sport, where we play with our biggest enemies, that's pain or our own limitation, the barrier of pain, breaking the barrier of pain. That's the concept of endurance. And that's the idea behind endurance sport. I just want to give a quick check, do a quick check. If anyone amongst us have ever played any endurance sports, running, swimming, cross country. I see some hands raised. Wow, cross country skiing. Couple of others endurance sports. I just picked up even yoga is a muscular training. It's an endurance sport. Okay, do we have an Iron Man in the room or Iron Woman in the room? Okay. Oh, well, Ravi has raised. Okay, that makes me feel very comfortable because here we are a bunch of people who haven't had like sort of, put ourselves in the limit of saying like doing, Iron Man or something. We don't categorize or put ourselves in the basket of athletes, but we are all sportsmen in our own limits, aren't we? Yes, see, everything is coming. Yoga, ski, walking. So at one point or the other, we all have had challenged ourselves to build our endurance, all to get into sports that extends our limits, that takes us beyond what we believe we can do or we can achieve. And that's the whole idea of endurance sport. I would love to listen to more stories from you as to how and what endurance you have been practicing or wish to practice or have been looking for. Please use chat messages as you guys are already doing to put on your comments. And just to continue with our meeting, I would like to get things in order and invite my supporting role players to please come forward and explain their role. To begin with, I would like to invite Timer Ravi to please come in and help us explain the role, what he will be looking for, and how we have to follow his guidelines. To you, Ravi.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Yasmin. Once again, a very warm hello to everybody. I am the timer for the day today, and as the timer, my role is to make sure that everybody who is speaking today, be it the prepared speeches, the impromptu speeches, or the evaluations, they keep within the time allotted as per Toastmaster standards. For example, we have Haider giving his icebreaker speech, and typically the icebreaker speech is a duration of 4 to 6 minutes. What I will do is when he has crossed or when he reaches the 4-minute mark, I'll change my background to green. When it is 5 minutes, I will change it to yellow. When it is 6 minutes, I'll change it to red, and it will stay red throughout till he finishes. Similarly, for the other prepared speaker, that is Toastmaster Lydia, it'll be 5 to 7 minutes. So green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6, and red at 7 minutes. For table topics, we have a duration of 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will show the green card. At 1.5 minutes, the yellow, and at 2 minutes, the red card, which will stay on till 2.5 and beyond. And finally, for evaluations, it's typically 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll be showing the green card at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2.5 minutes, and the red card at 2 minutes, at 3 minutes. When I'm called upon by the general evaluator towards the end of the meeting, I'll come back and I'll share my report with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timer. You are going to be testing our endurance today, looks like. Let's get going, and I would like to invite our grammarian for today, Govind, to please come forward, give us the word of the day, and explain his role. Govind.
Thank you so much. Good evening and good morning to all the Toastmasters and guests present here. As a grammarian, my role is to point out the good usages and the miss outs in the English language. Also, I will note the quotations, vocabulary, good words, and I'll come back with the report at the end of the meeting. I also encourage all the Toastmasters to use the word of the day. The word of the day is delegate, which means to give control, responsibility, or authority to someone, to trust someone with a job or duty. It can also mean to choose someone to do something. The usage is our supervisor delegated management of the office to another senior colleague while she was on vacation. Another usage for delegate is good leaders know how to delegate. I will paste the word of the day in the chat box. I'll keep spamming it so that you notice it and use it throughout this meeting. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Govind. Good leaders delegate. That makes me wonder, is my boss a good leader because he believes too much in delegation? I always thought he's a good manager. Okay, I trust what you say. Let's get going. And I would like to invite, just double check, we do not have a counter. So I think we are good to go with the 2 supporting role players. But having said that, we really have to watch our R's. And general evaluator, you are welcome, more than welcome to give the comment if in case you notice that someone is really going beyond the limits for R. Now, let's get going. Before I go, I would like to welcome Tiger and Najib. Najib, you are here. You're welcome in our RSS meeting. Tiger, nice to see you as always. Let's get continued about the endurance sports. For me, endurance training is something to push my limit, and more than physical, it's about mental strength. If I set a task, I'll try to achieve it irrespective. It means pain, it means discomfort, because I just want to get to that stage where the body gives me the signal back that you did what you aimed for and your thoughts are reality now. So what you conceived, you delivered. For me, that's a message, and that's why I pick up any endurance sport. Is there anyone in the room who would like to share their idea of endurance sport, and if they have ever tried to push their limits through a sport? Anyone? I know Lydia has shared a lot of experiences already. Would you like to take 30 seconds to share any experience you have in terms of getting into endurance sports?
So I shared one before the meeting about how I was playing flag football, but another one that I did was I had actually never done a competition swimming before. And at work, they asked me to participate in a backstroke swimming contest, which I'd never done before. And so I went ahead and I did that, borrowed somebody's swimsuit and did the backstroke, and actually took 3rd place in my age division that year. And so then the following year, I did it again, but I was competing more against myself and wanting to improve my time. And that time I took 2nd place. So it was nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Lydia. I think you brought up 2 very important concepts, which we should keep in mind anytime we bring into this idea of endurance sports. And I think which reflects in all our activities. First is to get started. We just should just start, get out of this mind, anything that's blocking you. For a moment, you need to just set your mind on a silent mode and just tell yourself that I'm going to do. The second most important thing, we are fighting and competing with ourselves, no one else. We are trying to set our own goals and trying to achieve what we aim for and doing it in a fun way. If we continue with this spirit, I think that's where we are really aiming to get to this idea of what we can do and how we can do. I'm not going to take more time because I know we have 2 wonderful prepared speakers. So I'm going to get us all going into the second section, which is prepared speeches section. It's going to be a very special speech. The first speaker is going to be giving the icebreaker speech. So it is special. Heather, I hope you have noted the time. It's going to be 4 minutes, right? 4 to 6 minutes timer. Okay, so it's going to be 4 to 6 minutes. Heather would be evaluated by our seasoned Toastmaster, Michelle. So Michelle will be evaluating the speech of Heather. The title of Heather's speech is Journey from Being Tim to Heather. Journey from being Tim to Heather. Journey from being Tim to Heather. I think this time Michelle got it. Okay. So the floor is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, please invite our first speaker, Heather.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Heather Ali Mutagam, and I'm here today for my icebreaker speech where you'll get to know me and my journey from being Tim to Heather. But first, let me give you a short introduction about who I am. Since you already know my name, I'm an engineering graduate seeking for my master's soon while currently helping out my family with their business. I grew up in a small town called Udaipur, located in the state of Rajasthan, India. And now that you know who I am as of today, let's take you back to the time when I was known as Tim and why I was known as Tim. Year 2014, I completed my junior school and graduated to senior year. Frustrated from typical education system, I used Tim, my virtual gaming and social networking personality, to escape from the reality. Time was tough. I was just surviving until my medical conditions came crashing at me, because of which I had to drop out of school. When I came back again after 6 months of bed rest, the world around me, my friends, schoolmates, everyone has moved on, breaking me to ground with no confidence at all. But remember, there's always a silver lining in every story. And mine was my sister and my mother, who always motivated me no matter what the circumstance. I got up once again on my legs and completed my school, my left out school. With me being fond of machine always, I decided to get enrolled in an engineering graduate program. While at it, I was very anxious from all the past incident, thinking if I'll ever be able to complete it successfully. Once again, my family motivated me, and then I reached Pune, a city in state of Maharashtra, where my college is located. First day in college with so many new faces around and nervous me, there I saw a small open wheel single-seater car. I took a deep breath and gathered all my courage and got up to a senior and asked him, "What is that?" He said, "It's a Formula student car manufactured by a student team." And then I asked him, out of curiosity, "Can any student enroll in the team?" And he said, "Yes, all it needs is an ample amount of passion." And I thought, I thought to myself, who was a better candidate than me? Then he asked my name, and I said, "Heather." Then he goes saying, "Okay, Heather, hope to see you after your induction." And that's how I broke out of my character of Tim and became Heather again. First year as Heather, I enrolled in a college Rotary Club where I grew up a lot personally and in an extrovert way. I made contact with people. I got to know them and I got to know them. Transitioning from there to my Formula student team in my second year, and so on, finally completing my graduate, getting into business after everything. And that's how my journey have been, from being a scared schoolboy Tim to a graduate Heather. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Ooh, I guess we all need to give the shout out, the loud applause to Heather. Heather, this is going to be special. This is your first speech in a Toastmaster meeting. Great job, Heather. We got to learn so much about you. Heather, from Tim to Heather. And I guess what you told us Heather is another reflection of endurance. How we at every step are trying to prove ourselves and compete with ourselves. That's the idea behind endurance. And I think you are also just trying in a new journey of endurance as you're going to challenge yourself into more and more speeches and sort of, nourishing yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, from the icebreaker speech, it's time to move on to another very interesting speech. And yes, the speech is going to be very special if it is going to be presented by our guest speaker. It's none other than Lydia. You guessed it right. I know you all have been curious to know a little bit about Lydia. Lydia is a passionate advocate for diversity in the workplace. Isn't it wonderful? She holds a master's in business administration. I think her expertise is in human resource management. She did it from the University of Nevada. She is in Las Vegas at the moment. And her vision is to create a world in which workplaces are diverse, fair, and productive for all employees, regardless of the ability. Wow, I'm so amazed reading at the introduction, Lydia, I have to say. She will be evaluated by Toastmaster Titin, who's there amongst us. And Lydia will be giving speech from Pathways Visionary Communication, Level 3. The elective she has chosen is Inspire Your Audience. Her speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And the speech title is Neurodiversity, Why Create Workplaces Supportive of All Employees, Regardless of Ability. The floor is yours. Please welcome Lydia.
A majestic eagle circles in the skies above when suddenly she spots her target, a tasty fish swimming in the waters below. As she swoops down to pluck the fish from the water, she's taken by surprise. What is this? Goggles on her eagle eyes? Flippers cramping her sharp talons? And a bulky air pack weighing down her back. As she's plunged into the waters below, she hears a voice. You are now a catfish. As she looks around, she sees herself surrounded by catfish, bottom dwellers. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I am that eagle. And this describes my experience in the workplace as a person with a cognitive disability. Come with me back to the year 2000. I'm sitting in the psychiatrist's chair where my children were all just diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Mrs. Norman, you also have ADHD, but you got A's and B's in school, so it didn't affect you. You're okay. Wow, I thought, okay. So I never pursued getting an official diagnosis. I went on to have a successful accounting career. My supervisors often delegated me with many tasks, and I never had any problems other than getting bored with my jobs after 6 months to a year and moving on to my next challenge. That is until the job. Now, the job was actually my dream job until my supervisor left 10 weeks after hiring me, and I found myself bouncing from manager to manager to manager until manager number 5. Manager number 5 was a challenge because he often wanted me to work the way he did, being buried down into the details and then working up to solve problems. When my technique was to take the eagle eye version and work down to solve the problem quickly. Trying to work the way that he wanted to caused me such anxiety. And like most people with high functioning impairments, I tried to self-medicate. My drug of choice, caffeine. So my managers and my coworkers had no clue that when I said, I'm going to Starbucks to get a coffee, it was really code for, you are driving me insane and I've got to drug myself so I can stay here and do this job. But like most drugs, the caffeine was never enough. I went to number 5, talked to him to no avail. And then I went to HR and was told, why don't you ask your boss for less work? I complained to my husband. That didn't work. The situation seemed hopeless. I even searched online and brought in suggested accommodations to HR. We are not going to do anything for you until you bring in accommodations from a doctor. And then the unthinkable. They put me on a performance improvement plan. Me, an overachiever. It caused me to have a nervous breakdown. I took 8 weeks off from work, during which I did go to the doctor and I did get accommodations. I brought them back. I wish that I could go home whenever the boss got on my nerves. HR mocked them. At that point, I realized the situation was hopeless and I was not going to be able to keep that job. I ended up having to drop my complaint with the employment agency because I had accepted a severance package from the company. At that point, I was so frustrated, so feeling like a failure. Even for 1 year of searching, I could not even find an accounting job. Even the sight of an accounting ad brought tears streaming down my face. This isn't fair, I thought. This company got away with mistreating me. And then I had an epiphany. I'm going to go back to school, I'm going to get my MBA, and I'm going to create programs that will teach managers how to effectively manage people with cognitive disabilities. And that was the best decision I could have ever made. I got another official diagnosis of mild neurocognitive impairments, and I found myself surrounded by other adults who were diagnosed with Roseburg syndrome, a form of autism. I was just like them. I was autistic, and I happily embraced my autism. Professor Tony Atwood in Queensland, Australia stated that people don't suffer from autism. They suffer from the bullying and the teasing that result from the attitudes and the ignorance of others. I am an eagle. I'm not a catfish. And my vision is a workplace where eagles are eagles and employees are allowed to choose the supports that allow them to be productive, regardless of their disability. And why don't we even do away with the word disability and focus instead on abilities? Having a conversation to make the workplaces and the world better involve all of us, those with disabilities and those without, to come together and have a frank conversation. I'm already at the table. Will you join me? Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lydia. I'm joining you right away. Such a thought-provoking speech. Wow. To be very honest, we might have all faced similar situation at our workplace or have known someone who have had faced discrimination based on disabilities, but we never paid much attention to it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention and interest. Perhaps we will be more thoughtful about these issues at our workplace. I see most of us agreeing to the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you have been waiting for the most exciting session where action happens. We get to practice the impromptu speaking skills. It's just that it's there and it comes out, and there we again challenge ourselves for something that we don't know what is going to be thrown at us. And when it is Tiger as the table topic master, I think we get our endurance tested to a lot more. So I challenge you all to be active, smart, because the next session, which is very interesting one, I can guarantee you, is being taken over by Tiger. Tiger, the floor is yours. Please welcome Tiger as our table topic master for today.
Thank you, Miss Toastmaster of the day. My first question is, what in life, sport or experience, has caused you or allowed you to increase your endurance? So what experience, be it a sport or just a life experience, has allowed you or caused you to improve your endurance? And I am going to go with, help me with the name, but Covin?
Yes, Toastmaster Tiger.
It's all yours.
Thank you so much. Good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters. Good morning in US. My name is Goen, and I'm recalling one moment of my life where I had the situation of testing my endurance ability. The only thought that's coming to my mind is climbing the hill. You know, there's a famous pilgrimage called Tirumala in Andhra, where we have to climb 7 kilometers uphill. So it's a combination of steep steps and road. So I had to keep on climbing the stairs. And when I was during my college days, I never stopped and I kept climbing till I felt tired. And I was the first person to complete the climb, and all my friends were left behind. The second time when I went to that pilgrimage was when I started with my job. At that point of time, for every 20 stairs I climbed, I felt so tired. It's because of lack of endurance sport. Then I understood the importance of endurance sport, because it has the ability of making you more fit. It improves your fitness. So that's when I realized the importance of fitness. And if you're fit, you can perform endurance sport in a better way. So I urge all of you to have the ability to pursue the endurance sport so that you're fit in your life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Physical endurance. A physical endurance test can definitely tell us about ourselves. No question about it. Thank you for that story. Again, help me with the name. Sabiha.
Yes, it's Sabiha.
Thank you. And welcome. It's the same question. What experience in life has allowed you or caused you to gain endurance?
Okay, thank you for the question, Toastmaster Tiger. Well, for me, it would be my experience when I wanted to change my job. I work in a IT industry, but I felt it's not my cup of tea. And I was applying for government jobs. But then when I got that opportunity finally, like for at least 3 years, I have written exams. But then when I got the opportunity and when it was the time for me to give that resignation letter, I felt, no, I think this is the place where I should be, not that for which I was like, I thought that would be my place, but no. So that moment of 15 days was very difficult for me to decide which path to choose. I felt that period made me stronger enough, so that it also made me realize how I love, like how much I love my job. And from that point onwards, my the love for my job, towards my job, has been way greater. And today I'm still an IT analyst. So, and I love the job. So that's all from my side. Over to you.
Thank you very much and welcome. I know it's difficult to speak in front of strangers. I'm assuming that, is there anybody here that you know? Is there anybody here that you know? You know Ravi.
Yes.
Okay, we won't hold against you that you know Ravi. Look at, I got him to laugh. Yay, I accomplished what I came to do today. I got Ravi to laugh. Melva, what experience has allowed you or caused you to gain experience in life?
Actually, I'm the one to take comfort game, because I have a lesson from people that in my office lately, someone that I know well, he played badminton, and you know, he passed away in that place. So it took me a lesson that probably you need to know your limitation. Yeah, the age probably, yeah, if the game, how to say that, that's okay, probably you want to try some play game or something like you interested, but you have to know your limitation. Not all your wanted that, not all you want it can be. So for me, till right now, I just play the game that I feel safe, and yeah, take a comfort zone. I think that's it. Thank you, Tiger. Back to you.
Thank you, Melva. It's nice to have you back. I hope to see you more often. Thank you so much. Najib, are you willing to dive into this question?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So the question is, what experience in life has caused you or allowed you to gain endurance in life?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question for me, where I believe that my first experience in my life, I believe so, after my education. So I do not have a ability to speak a group of people. Can assume a kind of I'm a kind of introvert person before the time. So I just go for job, and to meet a different types of people. So communicate with different people, and to make a self kind of image. So it's very hard to make a people connection. So that is a very big challenge for me, because as an employee and as a team member, I need to connect it with all people. So it's a very challenging thing for me. For example, when I talk to my team lead, when I talk to a management, So I cannot connect it to them personally and individually as well. So there was a very tough time because I don't have a good experience like how to connect it with people. Like I learn about in my life, like if you have a great communication skill, a communication skills are not is like only the English speaking or English learning. So connectivity is a kind of communication I learn in my life. So and the more interesting thing is, so for example, if you are a more interesting person, people will connect it to you. I learn in my life because I always trying to ask help for people, and I always search people to help me. But I learn it. That was a very challenging part for me because I'm a beginner that time. So if you don't have anything or if you don't know anything, so that is a very challenging part. So if you know something and you connected with people, definitely people will help you. That I learn it. It means you need to be a more and more confident, and you need to be more and more knowledgeable person. So it was a tough situation for me. No one help and no one support, and I learned myself, I grew myself. So that was a great experience for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for being here. Again, I know it's difficult to come and speak in front of people that you don't know. It's difficult enough to do table topics when you're familiar with people. So we appreciate you being here. That was an excellent answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Do I have time for one more? One more. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. How about Ravi? Same question.
Okay. Let me make sure I can time myself before I start. All right. Do you mind? Thanks for that, Michelle. Tiger, do you mind repeating it for me?
No, I'm not repeating it. So the question is, what experience in life has caused you or allowed you to gain endurance?
Well, I would say there was a time in my life when I was also very much of an introvert. I don't think I mixed around with people, even if they were folks from my school or from my university, as a younger version of myself. Or when I started working, I would be glued to my computer for most of the time. So I wasn't really a very outgoing person who would mix around with people. But I think what has really helped me come out of that shell and sort of be able to endure being around a lot of other people, be they strangers or people I know, has been being part of Toastmasters. And that has exposed me to a very different environment, to a whole lot of diverse sets of opinions, perspectives, and a lot of learning as well. And I'm glad that I got to know about Toastmasters from one of my managers. They did not delegate it to me, to use the word of the day, but they were somebody who invited me to this activity along with them. And that really helped me, I would say, endure and come out of my own shell and mix around with people. And so I did sort of go away from Toastmasters for quite a bit after I first joined. But then I'm really glad to be back in the fold. And I look forward to being a Toastmaster for life. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Tiger.
Thank you, Ravi. I appreciate that. The fun part about being a table topics master is you get to delegate who answers the questions in what order. To check. Thank you, everybody. It's interesting to me because public speaking is the #1 fear in the world. People fear public speaking over death. Ponder that for a second. And it's interesting to me that nobody talked about public speaking, the process of public speaking as being something that caused endurance. Interesting. Robbie's the only one that mentioned Toastmasters, and I think he did that just to brown nose us, but that's just my opinion. I know that Toastmasters has created with me endurance. Contest speech. Oh my goodness. To perfect a contest speech can cause serious brain damage and improve your endurance at the same time. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Table Topic Master.
Back to you, Table Topics Master, and I'll pass
You
it
are
on to the
table
Toastmaster.
topic.
How's that?
Tiger, that's what endurance means. We have to learn to endure to everyone's laughter. And no mistake is tolerated, right? When we are seasoned Toastmaster. But I give the liberty to make this comment to the general evaluator rather than doing it myself. I wish I could say I delegate the authority. But let's get into the most important session for Toastmasters. That's the evaluation session. And we have yet another guest today, Toastmaster guest Sabiha Saeed, who is going to be our general evaluator for today. And let me let you know a little bit about Sabiha. So she joined Toastmasters around 2.5 years ago. And since then, she has been challenging herself with several roles like secretary, VPD, and actually president of her home club, TCS Maitri Synergy Park Toastmasters Club, which I believe is one of the corporate club in the region. And to surprise you all, she's currently serving as area director for Area E2 in District 126 in India. So through Toastmaster, definitely, as you all have guessed it, she aims to become a leader and a better communicator. So ladies and gentlemen, let's invite Sabiha to take it forward as the general evaluator for today. Sabiha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Yasmin, for such a warm and kind introduction. So now it's time for evaluation. We all know that once we become Toastmasters, our journey has just started. It means we have to work hard, like we will give speeches, we'll prepare for speeches, and we'll give the speeches, we'll take roles, and we come back to the meetings and take roles again. But does this mean, is this enough to be a Toastmaster, to be an evolving person? Definitely a no, because to become an evolving person, there should be a feedback, a reflective feedback, a positive change should be there. Like, what is the next step? For any student, there would be a next class. He'll aim for it. For any employee, there will be a next level. Similarly, for any Toastmaster, there will be a next step where they can improve upon. So we say area of improvement will be different. Like today's meeting is the next meeting is going to be the best meeting. We believe in that. So now is the general evaluation section. In this section, it's not just me going to be evaluating everything. I have a team with me, the 2 evaluators and the tag team. So let me call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Michelle. Please evaluate speech of Toastmaster Haider.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you especially to Heather. I was captivated by from the start, how composed you seem to be. Oftentimes when it's an icebreaker, you see the person holding his notes, referring to his notes, feeling a little flustered. And in fact, I have heard countless icebreaker speakers who actually not only seem nervous, but also express their nervousness. They say things like, I'm really not prepared. I'm so nervous. I don't know how to say this. I don't know. So that would usually be the first advice. Don't tell us that you're so nervous. In your case, you seem very composed and you had excellent organization. You had an opening and then you had a body, including a great story in there about how you got to develop the friendship with the Formula One people and how actually your name, you recovered your name or you went again from Tim to Hater. So that was a great storytelling ability, icebreaker with storytelling. That was great. And also, like I mentioned, I knew you were having notes, but they were not all over. I think you had them somewhere here, maybe on your computer screen. You did glance at it occasionally at your notes. Well done with the notes. Again, as an icebreaker speaker, you definitely nailed the objectives of the icebreaker speech, which is to begin speaking, which you did, and to introduce yourself to your audience so that we get to know. Definitely, you got both objectives. Now, because in Toastmasters, as our general evaluator mentioned, we're always aiming for the next level and the next and the next. I have a couple of suggestions for you for your future speeches. One of them is the use of time. Indeed, the icebreaker speech is only 4 to 6 minutes. However, you still have 2 of those minutes left because I was timing you at 3:41, and I think the official timer was something like 3:57 or something. Nonetheless, it was still well within time. You could have added a little more. There was so much more information we wanted to learn about you. So that was one, use your time. And then maybe you were not nervous. We didn't see the nervousness, but maybe that was why you held yourself so formally, I would say. So maybe loosen up a little bit. Don't have to be like Tiger, who seems to have no more bones, but at least loosen up. Maybe a little like Ravi, a little bit more smile, more relaxed, and that would make an even greater speech. And speaking of time, I just went beyond time. Sorry, Ravi. So, or maybe I haven't yet. Back to you, Madam General.
Thank you, Evaluator Toastmaster Michelle. Now I request Toastmaster Evaluator 2, Toastmaster Titin, to please evaluate our second speaker, Toastmaster Lydia.
Thank you, General Evaluator. From an employer to an employee. You are still alive, right? Come to the office and work. Are you familiar with this situation? Toastmaster Lydia, your speech was very well structured, with a well-planned analogy in the beginning and smoothly leading to the content of your speech and a conclusion with call to action. Toastmaster Lydia, in this Chinese New Year season, if I may analogize your speech as the traditional food that Chinese have on Chinese New Year, the one that is shown on my virtual background called Yiseng, your speech is abundant. It consists of all the requirements of an edutaining speech. There are many points that I like from your speech, and let me simplify them into 3 points. First, you started your speech with a mesmerizing story in which you analogize yourself and the content of your speech. And second, you provided a prop, the goggles, and you utilized very well your vocal variety, the body language, and even you inserted a humor in your speech about complaining to your husband, and he gave no solutions at all. And third, you provided us with a story of a problem, and also you provided the solutions as well. It was complete with a conclusion and call to action for the audience to work on. And as how I usually enjoy the food Yiseng, for me it will be excellent, and there is one thing that cannot be left behind. That is the chili powder, which is translated into my humble suggestions that you may want to consider. First, as an audience, I would appreciate very much if you provide me with some seconds to digest your speech, especially after some important key points. So you may want to provide some seconds as the pauses for the audience, especially me, to understand your speech. And second, I think it will be even greater if you could make it very clear on one message that you would like to convey to the audience, as perhaps there might be a possibility that what people remember from your speech was the generalization that bosses are too harsh on their employees. So I think it will be great to make sure that the audience remember more on the message and not on the generalization that bosses are usually too strict on their employees. Overall, it was an abundant and engaging speech, Toastmaster Lydia. I hope one day we can enjoy the traditional food eaten together, complete with the chili powder. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Titi. Now let's welcome the Word Master Grammarian, Toastmaster Govind, to please give the report.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sabiha. For me, this was one of the challenging sessions where I played the role of grammarian, because the points, when I'm noting the points, I was like, okay, this is something accountant is supposed to say, or this is something evaluator is supposed to say. So I tried my best to filter out every possible good usages and misusages in English. Starting with Toastmaster Yasmin, she used the word of the day once. I appreciate you for that. And she used the quote, "We are fighting and competing against ourselves." That is the best motivating and inspiring quote for me. Followed by Toastmaster Haider using, "There was a silver lining in every story." And he has used the word anxious in a better way. I appreciate for that. And Toastmaster Lydia, she said, she used the word being burned down into the details. She described it well. And also she used the quote, "Leave disabilities and focus on abilities." And she also concluded by saying, "I am already at the table," along with this quote, which had a huge impact on me. I like the way she has concluded it. Followed by Toastmaster Ravi, who used the word of the day, endurance. Actually, endurance seems to be the word of the day because most of you have used this word in table topics, or it has come many times because of the theme. Endurance means the ability to endure an unpleasant or difficult situation without giving way, or the capacity of something to last or to withstand wear and tear. So what I would like to say is that I encourage all of you to use the word of the day, which I have given you. I'm the partner in crime because I myself has not used the word of the day when I was given the table topics. I want to say one misusages. One of the Toastmasters has told, "Who was better candidate than you?" I would suggest, "Who is a better candidate than me?" while using. And Titin has used two nice words. One is mesmerizing and another word is abundant. With this, I want to tell you all to endure yourself and use the word of the day. And I would like to conclude with the quote, "By endurance, we conquer." Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Govind. Now let's welcome our timer to please give the report.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sabiha. For the timer report, I have shared the timing of the prepared speakers, but I'll mention it here again as well. Toastmaster Haider was giving his Icebreaker speech, he took 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Toastmaster Lydia, she took 7 minutes and 6 seconds. Now, moving on to the table topics. Everyone was within time here as well. We had Govind, who spoke for 1 minute and 50 seconds. We had Sabiha, who spoke for 1 minute and 29 seconds. Melva spoke for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Najib for 2 minutes, 43 seconds. And I spoke for 1 minute and 43 seconds. And in the evaluation segment, the first evaluator was Toastmaster Michelle. She spoke for 3 minutes and 10 seconds as per my timing. So you were well within time, I think. I'm not sure what caused the false alarm. The second evaluator was Toastmaster Titan. She just missed by a few seconds. She was at 3 minutes and 35 seconds per my clock. Maybe Michelle can keep me honest if in case I went over time. And our word master grammarian, he spoke for just close to 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. So that's my timer report. Back to you, Toastmaster Sabiha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravi. So your time is also shown. Well, great. Now it's time for my report. So I'll be starting from the very start of this meeting. I love the way Toastmaster Ravi has connected for me, like to call for me to this meeting. And also the way the agenda was prepared and given, shared ahead of the time. I loved it. And also while joining, the Zooms showed the please wait. Something was related to your Toastmasters Club. That was also, I was really impressed by that. And from Sergeant Arms role, for the role, you have started right on time. Everyone was in right on time. It's amazing. And then presiding officer, Toastmaster Yasmin, did an amazing job. She introduced each and every person. She didn't leave anyone. I just felt so warmly welcomed, and also the people in the meeting also felt like so. I'm sure of it. And from PO role to TMOD role, the way she translated, that was amazing again. And as a TMOD, you did an amazing job, Toastmaster Yasmin. It was a rare topic, but how you shifted it to relevancy, it was again like nice. How I felt too nice hearing like how it came to relevancy. I just liked it. And the chat box was floating with comments and it was interactive. You also gave speaking option, and you were also mindful of time. We have only 1 hour, 15 minutes. You have that thought, so you kept the things in that way. And also what I liked what I liked is the way you gave the positive comments after every speaker has spoken, the comments which you gave to them, that was amazing. Now coming to Toastmaster Ravi as timer, I like the way you showed changing of backgrounds on the spot at the moment. But while you were explaining your role, I felt there were a few pauses. Again, coming to Toastmaster, and the report was apt Toastmaster Ravi. Now coming to word master grammarian Toastmaster Govind, I really like the word of, like, you have given the word of the day, delegate. But what we generally also use is idiom of the day or phrase of the day. So it would be nice if you also adapt to that, like use that one also. And we also show emoticons whenever some like a speaker is using word of the day, we show single thumbs up. And whenever he or she uses idiom of the day, we show double thumbs up. So that is one thing. Coming to speakers, I really enjoyed both of the speakers' speeches. Already you have got evaluated, so I'm moving forward. Table topics master, Toastmaster Tiger, again amazing. Like you have lightened the mood. It was interesting and self-reflecting question. We have got different perspectives on same question. It was amazing again. Now coming to the evaluators, Toastmaster Michelle, you had great hand gestures. I liked it, and the humor you have instilled, that was also amazing. Just that while you are saying about the time factor to Toastmaster, Haider, you have missed the red. I too have missed. I'm also missing, but I'm moving forward. Toastmaster then again, amazing points. The way you explain with the food items, chili powder, spices are also important. But you missed. I felt you missed hand gestures. But overall, it was a nice meeting. I really enjoyed being part of this meeting. Thank you. And over to Presiding Officer, Toastmaster Yasmin.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sabia, for such a comprehensive evaluation. We sincerely appreciate it. I have 5 minutes, and I would like to have some fun facts with you, playing around something to learn a little bit more about at least the sport I got into recently. That's marathon. Let's use the chat box. Here is my first and the easiest question. What's the distance of a marathon? How many kilometers do we run? 10. A full marathon. Let me be specific. 42, 26. Okay. I just know miles. That's fine. 26 miles, right? 42 kilometers, 26 miles. Thank you, Ravi, for helping me. Not bad, not bad. How much would an ultra marathon be? How many kilometers? 80? Okay.
Did you say half a marathon?
Now, an ultra marathon. An ultra marathon. Ultra. An ultra. You haven't heard for an ultra marathon? Okay, cool. So anything that goes above 42 kilometers, generally like 50, 60 is an ultra marathon. So people really sign up even for distances beyond a full marathon. And there are a lot of ultra marathoners around. What is marathon? Not the running, but otherwise, what is a marathon? Do you know where marathon is?
We went. We actually went to marathon. Marathon is in Greece. It's about 26 miles away from Greece. I mean, from Greece, from Athens, sorry. It's about 26 miles away from Athens.
That's
it was a sad start. Marathon had a sad beginning. Yeah, I mean, not really, but it was kind of war.
Yeah. There you go, Michelle. You said it all. It's actually a location. It's a place in Greece. And the story goes like a person. There was a war between Persia and Athens, like Greece. So a soldier had to actually run all the way from Athens to this place, Marathon, to announce so that this news doesn't get spread a wrong way that Persians have won because it's the Greek who have had won. So to honor that, that distance was kept as the official distance when Marathon started. Do you guys know which is the longest or most difficult marathon? Which terrain would you imagine where people would have a marathon as like the highest limit of endurance? And I promise this is the last question.
Could you repeat the question?
Where would people run, which is considered as the highest limit of human endurance? A marathon, where these marathons are held. Well, wow. Someone guessed it very close.
The Arctic?
Antarctic, Arctic, desert, some very hot place. Well, it's in Morocco. The marathon, it's an ultra marathon that is held in Morocco, which is somewhere around 18 kilometers. And this is the toughest marathon on the earth because you run in a desert and you run like with the 40 degrees, 50 degrees temperature from in the air, temperature below the sand, and you run over the sand dunes. So that's considered as the toughest marathon, Marathon de Sabeles. And we all have our respective marathons. We have our own respective personal, thresholds or personal goals, which we want to beat. It's just that we need to believe that we can do it, work towards it, and just make it happen. So with this, I would really like to end the meeting, basically the theme today. And I would like to invite our guests to reflect their feedback, because I have still 2 to 3 minutes with me. So to begin with, maybe let's check with Heather how he feels after giving the first speech.
I feel really confident about that first speech. It's an icebreaker speech, which really stand up to its meaning, letting you to open up within the group and letting you open within yourself also, expressing yourself and letting people know who you actually are. So yeah, and the evaluation that Michelle gave me, it really motivated me, and also made me more confident about myself. And yeah, surely I'll improve on those suggestions in my next speech. And back to you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for sharing that with us. We all know and we all remember our first speech. That's always very special. Let me invite Sabiha. If you could just in 30 seconds let us know, how do you feel about our meeting, some observations, anything for us to improve?
I really enjoyed this meeting. Everyone has switched on their cameras. It's not something which we generally see in our meetings. And I felt like home, although we are from different places, we are sitting here and we are talking, we are chatting. I just really like this. And thanks to Toastmaster Ravi for introducing me to this club.
Thank you, Sabiha. You really touched on the point which is very close to our heart. We take pride to say that our club holds people from more than 20 nationalities. The last time that we counted, many of our members are not here, but I'm sure we sort of represent geographically, I think, except for Africa. That's the continent which is not yet represented in our club. But having said that, we are really diverse and we hold a lot of pride in that. And thank you. We really are glad to know that we could make you feel comfortable and welcome. And you're always welcome in our meeting. We organize our meeting every day, same time and same link. Let me go ahead to Lydia. I know we are waiting to hear for her feedback about us. Lydia.
I really enjoyed this meeting. I have had a lot of opportunities to attend different Toastmasters clubs around the world through Zoom. And by far, I loved the homey feeling of this club and felt very welcome from the start. So I really loved the meeting, and I'd love to have the opportunity to come back.
Yeah, Lydia, you're always welcome. You don't have to think about a second or a microsecond to come and visit us. And we must say you bring us a lot of positive energy and a lot of, vitality with your presence. So thank you. And we are really privileged to have you here. Govind, I know you are getting into the title of senior most guest, but still we would love to have your feedback.
Yeah, Toastmaster Yasmin, I love the team which was picked today, because I didn't know that there's something called as endurance sport, and this word, and I understood the importance of endurance. Also, one thing I love about this club is it's on Monday, and first thing that comes to my mind when the day Monday comes is it's boring. Nothing is special. But when I know the fact that Roseburg Toastmasters meeting is on Monday, that's one reason why I get excited on Monday, that I could join this and make my Monday interesting. What can I say? Is this my second home? If Coastline Toastmaster Club, which I belong, is my first home, maybe this could be my second home. Also, I was finding some quotes to conclude, and I want to share one interesting fact about endurance sport. There's one woman athlete. Her name is Gertrude Ederle. I don't know if you know this name. She made history and rocketed to international stardom in 1926. At the age 20, she became the first woman to swim the English Channel, then considered one of the toughest endurance tests in the world. She was beating the fastest man's existing record by nearly 2 hours and challenging the notions about women being the weaker gender. Wow. This is the most important fact I feel like sharing at this point of time. I could not conclude any more about the meet and this club. Thank you.
Thank you, Govind. I think this was really an important fact, eye-opening fact. And thank you for your comment, how we could not have loved it more. Monday, RSS making your Monday special. Ladies and gentlemen, we are dot on time. So allow me to officially adjourn our meeting, but please stay behind and we can spend a little bit of time together. And here I officially adjourn the meeting.